If you're anything like me, you've probably watched a lot of financial influencers giving advice that they all swear will make you wealthy, and yet somehow you are in a pretty similar situation as to when you started. Well, it turns out there's actually a reason for that. And even though I'm a financial influencer myself, I've pretty much stopped watching financial influencers. Probably seems weird, so let me explain. So as someone who is like half in the financial niche, I feel like I'm a good person to kind of talk about this, about how my content is about finances and the other half's about like minimalism and habits and bettering yourself. So I'm kind of in this world enough to understand how it works. And there's a few things that honestly make it tricky. First of all, people like Graham Stephan have outright said the best way to make money is to talk about how to make money. On top of that, when you talk about financial content, you get paid the most money on YouTube. So like how much you make per 1,000 views is the highest when you talk about money. Here's a video where I talk about money. Here's a video where I talk about minimalism. As you can see, how much I make from that video is drastically different. So if I just wanted to make as much money as possible, I would strictly talk about how to make money. And that's what a ton of people do. They recycle, repackage, and clickbait the exact same content that is not even from their own life experience. It is strictly a business, and that business makes money off of you because banks, credit card companies, and different financial companies will pay a lot of money to have ads on those videos. And on top of that, sponsors pay a lot more. So if you want to make money, talk about making money, which can be a little bit of a conflict of interest. So one of the first main reasons why I stopped watching financial YouTubers is this do as I say, not as I do aspect of it. If you look at even people like Dave Ramsey, Graham Stephan, Andre Drake, there's a billion other people. I've even talked about it a little bit, but there's this idea that people talk about the Roth IRA, invest in a Roth IRA, and by the time you're 65, you'll be a millionaire. And that is totally true. But most of the things that they recommend for you to do, like investing in a Roth, is not actually how they made real money. It's not actually what they do. They built a business that is making them millions of dollars per year. It would be absolutely impossible for them to get to where they are now by doing the things that they are telling you to do, unless they're telling you to start a business. If you're just working 9 to 5, living very frugally, and investing in the stock market, you will never have $10 million. You probably never have $5 million. You might have $1 to $2 million once you reach retirement if you are very frugal, work very hard for most of your life. And if you're like me and you're into this whole financial independence, retire early movement, then those main things are not going to be the best option for you. However, I do understand that for most people, this is good advice. You should plan for your retirement. But it's just interesting to me that the main way that they make their money is not how they recommend for you to make their money. At least most of them don't. They talk about dividend stocks. They talk about VTI. They talk about the Roth IRA. Then they show you these huge charts where if you just invest X amount of dollars per week, in 40 years, you're going to be a millionaire. It's like, yeah, you're also not going to be able to like play with your kids. So like, this is probably not the right mindset, but I don't really care. That's not what I want to do. The next reason is what I call the reality TV effect. I used to watch Dave Ramsey and more recently Financial Audit. And I'm not bashing them at all. I think they are great services for people who are just getting started in their finances. Maybe they're getting out of debt. They're learning the very basics. But as somebody who has read like 100 books on finances, I've studied it and nerded out for a really long time. It turned into reality TV for me. It was people would call in or they'd be there at the table and they would talk about the most insane stuff. And it was just like, I'm 50 grand in debt working at McDonald's, or I just spend crazy money on certain stuff. And while that can help people, for me, it just turned into reality TV. It was like a dumpster fire. You just couldn't look away. It was like more and more crazy, dramatic thing. They just need to keep one-upping themselves to get people to come back. So it's a crazier person. Now it's got a homeless person. It's just going further and further, and I wasn't really growing as a person from watching it. I was being entertained, for sure, but I wasn't growing in my finances. It wasn't actually helping me. Whereas like after literally watching 1 or 2 episodes, you pretty much know everything that they're gonna say. But then there's the blood, fire, and destruction section. And of course, that all has to happen at a table with dramatic lighting. This isn't very dramatic. There we go. In the last couple of years, in order to maintain views, people have needed to start clickbaiting. And they are clickbaiting hard. Again, no hate to these people. They have made more money than I ever will. They're extremely successful. I just have stopped watching them because this really turns back into the reality TV effect, where it turns into financial news. It's China is taking over the world. The US is burning down. This politician's a horrible person. Just crazier and crazier stuff. Clickbaity and clickbaity thumbnails. Fire and brimstone in every single thumbnail. Or just some evil person with red X's over their eyes. But as I get 12 minutes into that video, generally it lands with like, you know, things aren't all that bad. A few things happened, but turns out the drama was a little overhyped. And I just got burned too many times. And I've also like stopped watching the news entirely in my own life. Like I don't follow any news. If something important happens, family and friends tell me about it pretty much. There are some things that I nerd out about a little bit, but just because I know that negativity and fear sells, which is obvious when you look at the news during the pandemic and during the elections, it's never about anything positive that's happening because that won't get views. It's only about negative stuff and taking down the other party, whatever they are versus whatever we are. I just don't want that in my head, honestly. But what's really annoying is that it works so well. Like if I smile in a thumbnail, my video will do way worse than if I look sad into the left in my thumbnail. Then my video always does better. So that's also why I stopped watching, not all financial influencers, but a large majority of them that are just clickbaity. And I've gone to a few people who are actually walking the walk, talking the talk, more realistic, day in the life, real person talking about what they're actually going through, instead of just selling negativity and fear, which is honestly what sells, but I don't want to buy it. So I'm not saying that you should stop watching all financial influencers. They are good to a point. You just need to make sure that you keep progressing and you're not staying in the same spot. That's why I personally have really gotten into reading books this year. And that's why I've also started doing so many book reviews on this channel. I have quite a few coming up because I'm reading like a book a week right now. For me, in an 8 to 12 minute video, there's only so much actual high value information you can put in, as opposed to a book where you can learn a lot of information. People put so much more time into it. And for me anyways, that long form content just tends to help me a little bit more.
So something that I'm trying to do is take those ideas and share them back with you guys. But I also think that I'm not the only one who's getting sick of this clickbait. I talked to a couple finance creators and they are actively trying to avoid the fire and brimstone and find other things that worked. And I even did a test myself where I made a video that was a little clickbaity and fear, and it actually didn't perform well, which I'm super happy about, because that means you guys are a little bit sick of that as well. And that's actually I think a really good sign. And even on my other channel, which does have a little bit more of these documentary about serious topics, I'm still trying to find a way to package them in a way that isn't fear-mongering, but also still works. And how all of this ends up happening is because of the viewers. It's because of what people actually click on. Now, this video itself has even been a little bit negative, which is why it might do well, but I wanted to leave this on a bit of a positive note. I don't think YouTube is a bad thing. In fact, YouTube has completely changed my life in two separate ways. One, I have learned so many amazing habits, money lessons, and so many different things on YouTube from other YouTubers. People who talk about finances, they talk about habits and minimalism and all this stuff. It has been life-changing for me, and that's why I still continue to make content, because other people have come to me and told me that the stuff I have made has improved their lives, and I think that is just like absolutely amazing. And the second way that is a good and a bad is that anybody can start a YouTube channel. Like anybody. I had never picked up a camera before I started this YouTube channel. There's very few pictures of me. I didn't like to be in pictures. No experience talking. My first video isn't edited because I didn't know how to edit, and I've taken that and I've built something that's allowed my wife to leave her job. It's allowed me to spend as little as 2 to 5 hours on my actual channel per week and still make more than I've ever made, and also be able to make a significant impact in people's lives, and anybody can do this. So that's why I'm actually in the process of creating a YouTube course and coaching program. So if you're interested in starting a channel, you can join the waitlist down below. My goal in this is to save you years of stress and give you all the tools you need to build a YouTube channel and monetize it as quickly as possible while not spending a lot of time on it. So I'm still working on it, but you can click the link down below. Hopefully it helps you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the state of YouTube.
So yeah, I guess those are the main reasons I've stopped watching financial content. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe. Check out this video right here. It's very good. See you next week.